We're here in Las Vegas with William McDowell-White. Has just finished up your pro day. How you feeling?
Really good. It was just good to get out and compete against a lot of high-level players. It was just good to be out there.
What kind of opportunity was it today for you?
This was probably the biggest opportunity I've had. Just having all these NBA personnel sitting courtside and going up against guys like Troy Brown. It probably doesn't get any better than that.
What do you think they saw?
I think just a lot of change in my body language and just the way that I compete. I know in the past I've had a knock on me where I was a little too cool, a little too composed. So I just wanted to show that that's not me. I'm not out there to relax. I'm out there to compete and play.
When we first saw you, I think it was like Adidas Nations 3 or 4 years ago. You were more playing on the wing, and it seems like you slowly transitioned right to being a full-time point guard. We saw you making some very high-level passes, high-level reads out of the pick and roll. What has that evolution been like for you? Have you always played point full-time?
I would probably say in Germany it was the first time I was really appointed point guard. So it was really tough in the beginning. I thought it'd be pretty easy. Just bring the ball up, call out the plays, and that was pretty much it. But there's a lot of talking involved, a lot of thinking, and throughout the year, just going against guys, especially in the first team in Bamberg, guys like Nico Zizis, who's a legend out there, just picking his brain every day, just helped evolve into the point guard, and especially in the second half of the year in Germany, that really helped.
I mean, the transition must not have been that hard because you led the league in assists, right? You averaged 7 or 8 a game, right?
Yeah, you just I think you got to credit the teammates just making shots, and I guess just wanting to put the ball in the hole. It just made it a lot easier. We had a lot of guys who wanted to score, which made it a lot easier for me. I'm not the scoring type of guy. I want to get guys going. So a lot of guys who could make shots and finish around the basket helped a lot.
I think people were a little bit surprised when you left the Sydney Kings, signed in Germany. It's not the most common move. What was that like, kind of stepping outside your comfort zone and making that move? To one of the most respected clubs in Europe, in Bamberg.
I would say it was very different. Especially moving out of home at 19 to live by yourself was pretty daunting to start with. I didn't know how to take care of an apartment, cook, clean. I didn't know how to do much. But over time, it really, I learned how to do that sort of stuff and just help me mature as a person. Now I feel like I'm an actual man now instead of a little kid. So I think the move to Bamberg was probably the best decision I've made in my life right now.
What was it like making your debut in the EuroLeague? A guy not very common for a guy your age, especially not a European player, to play at that age in the EuroLeague.
It was really nerve-wracking because at the time we were playing CSKA Moscow, who was the top team in the EuroLeague, and I think once I got coach pulled me up for a sub, and he said I have to guard Nando De Colo full court. But thankfully he got subbed out at the same time. But it was just, I did not take that for granted at all. Like you said, a lot of guys don't get that opportunity at that age. And as soon as I touched the ball, I just put it up, and thankfully it went in. But I mean, I don't think it doesn't get any better, especially in front of a home crowd. So it was good.
You were a leader of the Australian national team, playing up 2 years. I remember at the Under-19 World Championship. What was that experience like for you? And do you plan on continuing to play for the national team? Obviously, it's a loaded group, a lot of really talented guards. You're competing against, and you're still young. But how big of a part of your future do you see that being?
You never know what could happen. But I'm just going to continue to work, and hopefully I can make it. I mean, I want to play for Australia at the highest level. If that works, if that happens, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. I mean, I know, it could happen, it couldn't happen. But I'm going to look back at those junior years, if I don't make it, they were some pretty special times.
Ben Simmons, Joe Ingles, Dante Exum, Patty Mills, Aaron Baines. I mean, Australians are making a huge impact in today's NBA. I mean, that wasn't really the case 10 years ago. You know, what do you think has changed, or why is there so much talent coming out of Australia right now?
I think there's just a lot of interest now. I think, especially when guys like Steph Curry just blew up. A few years ago, people just thought, everybody just started to like basketball, and everybody's trying to, take it a lot seriously back home. You see a lot more guys going to college and, making, having great careers overseas. Like, guys like Joe Ingles was in Europe for a long time and, came to the NBA, and now he's doing really well. So, there's guys like Steph. Obviously, there's like Michael Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, those guys who just globalized the game. Those are probably the biggest reasons as to why there's been a participation level increase at home, and guys, people just, once they see someone makes it, everybody else just wants to do the same.
Even though basketball is huge in Australia, I mean, the #1 sport in the country is football, Australian football. You grew up, in a household, with a father who's a legend of the sport, Brisbane. What was that like for you? How did he take it when what age you start playing basketball at, and how did he like that?
Well, we started pretty young, actually, around 5, 6. We started playing. We didn't really start playing football until we were about 10. So football was actually the last sport we picked up. Just because Dad wanted us to try it. I tell you, it was really hard growing up with a legend living in your house. I mean, you try to go to some stores and everybody just wants to talk to him, and everybody labels you as, you're Darryl White's son. So it was pretty tough growing up, but I think I've kind of grown out of that now. But it's just I try to actually pick up football and take it professionally, but Dad didn't allow it, which is really surprising. Usually dads want you to pick up the same sport, but at the same time, I think we made the right decision.
What was your position? Were you a full forward, ruckman? Let's say if you did play AFL, where would you be on the pitch?
When I played, surprisingly, I was one of the tallest guys, so I played in the ruck. But anywhere in the ruckman around the midfield area, that's because I'm just a ball magnet, so I just try and stay around there.
I saw your sister just committed to Eastern Washington. Is that right? Well, how many more McDowell-Whites are coming?
Oh, well, hopefully we've got the whole family coming through. So that's the third one now. That's technically really the second one that'll be going to school because I didn't go. I really hope the rest of the family gets through. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. So say 6 out of the 7 made it to school, and just doing what everybody else wants to do.
Great stuff, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
Great to see you. Yeah, for sure.